The date was August 29th, 2023. I, a foolishly hopeful gold player who had only just broken free of silver, began streaming ranked matches as I do every Tuesday evening and Saturday morning. Subscribe! I entered the training room and began practicing combos, clueless to the fact that I was not warming up for a typical day of slow, steady progress. No. I was warming up for a cold, hard, kiss my mother goodbye and tell my wife I love her ass whooping the likes of which I had never before experienced. Across 2 hours, I lost 30 out of 36 games and every ranked point I had earned since making it to gold. Despite trying my hardest to keep my chin up even as the 17th Ken hit me with the 500th overdrive Shoryuken of the night, I walked away frustrated, angry, and demoralized. And this was me on stream a week and a half later. I love this game more and more every day. How did I transform from a broken husk of a man to the happy and decidedly better player you see before you today? The answer lies in 4 strategies I used to overcome frustration and get better at Street Fighter 6. The first strategy that I use for overcoming frustration is finding little victories. Little victories can come in many forms. Sometimes a little victory is just getting past the losing streak at all and getting a win. But especially for me, it's not just getting a win, but it's getting a win against, when you finally beat that 12-win Chun-Li that showed up and has been on some crazy kind of hot streak for forever, and you're the one that finally takes them down from that streak. Like, it may just be one game, but let it count extra. Let yourself feel good about that. Or even if that same Chun-Li turns out is insanely good and is really beating you into the ground and you're having a hard time and she takes the first 3 rounds you play against each other. If you manage to take even one round against somebody like that and you come back from all the frustration and the difficulty and the feeling like they have you too figured out and you're able to win even one round, that's something to be proud of and to get excited about. So let yourself get excited about even winning a round sometimes. It's okay to not win every game, and it's okay to not have your points go up if you can see that you did a good thing, that you are being better overall. The second strategy that I use for overcoming frustration is practicing outside of online matches. It can be really easy to tell yourself that all you need is to play online and to get more experience playing against other players, but honestly, I think that quite simply isn't true. And there is a lot of value to practicing outside of matches and getting into the training room against a literal dummy that doesn't even move. The training room in Street Fighter 6 is very well equipped to let you practice all kinds of things. I still have no idea what half the options in the training room do. But what I do definitely recognize is that the training room gives me opportunities to practice my combos. It gives me opportunities to practice my responses to moves because you can set up the dummies so that they'll throw out jabs or they'll throw out drive impacts and they'll do all of it randomly, where sometimes they'll block and sometimes they'll drive impact and sometimes they'll throw out a jab or anti-air. The training room, though, being able to practice, not only will it help you with your muscle memory and your consistency and just help you to get better overall, but I find a lot of the value of the training room is in giving me a chance to prove to myself again that I can hit the moves that I'm intending to hit. That even though I may have misinput my anti-air in the last game, this time I just hit it 10 times in a row. And it's another one of those little victories that you can find for yourself. You can set up situations where you can improve, where you can make it so that you can see that you have gotten better, that when you put in that input just now, you did it really precisely and really quickly, and you managed to get the cancel just right into your super move. And it's a lot easier to prove to yourself that you're doing things the way that you want to do them in the training room, which is a controlled environment, and it doesn't depend on the luck of what opponent you're going to draw like online matches do. The third strategy that I use for overcoming frustration is taking breaks. Taking breaks is super important in any game, and especially in any competitive game. Not only is it good for your brain because it is hard to stay focused and to handle all of the analysis that is required to do well in a competitive online game, especially in a fighting game where you're constantly trying to anticipate what your opponent is going to do while you're making plans for what you're going to do. And it gets very overwhelming at times. Now, those breaks can take place in a couple of ways. First off, and most importantly, is take a real world break. Even if you are just playing Street Fighter or any fighting game really for a few hours in a row, you know, once every hour or two, it's probably worth getting up, making sure that you're hydrated, getting a snack, using the bathroom, clearing your head, getting your hands off the controller for a minute, just so that you can relax a little and get yourself back into a headspace where you're ready to go back at it. Now, I find that taking a break, especially if I've been losing a lot and getting really frustrated, can make a huge difference, because I can come back and say, all right, you know what? I stepped back. It was bad. Now maybe it'll be good. Maybe not, but maybe it can be. And I think taking a break is huge. And the other thing is, if you're losing a lot of matches and you're consistently struggling, this is where I go back to use in-game a break. Don't be afraid to hit the quit ranked matches button. I have been doing it even on stream sometimes. Don't be afraid to hit that button and go to the training room and just prove to yourself that you can hit the moves that you accidentally missed, or that you can respond to a drive impact. Give yourself even 5 minutes to just do things the way that you know you can do them. Get your fingers warmed back up and to get yourself in a fresh headspace, so that when you go up against that next person that online decides to throw you up against, you can have a better mindset about it and know that, like, you have a chance against them. You're not just gonna for sure continue your winning streak. You did something, you changed it up, and now you can go back at it. The fourth and final strategy that I use to overcome frustration is realizing that I won't get better overnight. Realizing you won't get better overnight is difficult, and it's not in the moment a super useful tool. Realizing you won't get better overnight is not necessarily going to make you feel a lot better when you have a bad night. But overall, it's the mentality that is required to be able to keep coming back to a game that sometimes might leave you a little frustrated or angry. On stream, like I was showing earlier, I really did walk away from that 2-hour stream of just losing so frustrated, and I was so mad, and my wonderful wife reminded me that I'm not just gonna be better now that I'm in gold, and I need to actually like practice and work on all of these different things before I will be able to improve my skill. Just recognizing that you can apply all the other strategies, all the practice, all the breaks, all of the tiny victories over time, and eventually the scales will tip in your favor, is huge. You can get better. It just is never going to happen in an instant. So every bad night you might have, just remember, if you keep at it and you keep being smart about the way that you're practicing, and you're not just throwing yourself at a wall blindly, you will eventually be able to tip the scales and find yourself hitting a different wall that's further along against harder players, and starting the whole process over again, because that's what it is. It's a cycle, and it's a fun cycle to go through, as long as you recognize that there are some frustrating parts in the cycle too. If you made it this far in the video, please do me a favor and hit the like button so that more people can find it. It really helps me out a lot. Also, I'm curious, comment what strategies you use to overcome frustration in fighting games or other competitive games. I want to know what strategies you might be using that I didn't talk about here today. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see what I've got coming in the future, please subscribe. You Hadouken. I'm ready for it. Don't think I'm not ready for it. Don't think I'm not ready for it. That was good.